Welcome in the Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. On tonight's show, the Kyle Dugger trade just got even better. I'm going to explain why that is here at the top of today's show. Then yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of under the radar had a really good sneaky signing, in my opinion. Of course, the Kyle Dugger trade took most of the headlines, but I actually think this signing could be a potential impact for the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. Then Mike Tomlin took the podium yesterday for Tomlin Tuesday, and he said, what about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense? We'll be breaking that down later in today's show, so make sure you guys stick around. But before we get into the content today, we got a loaded show, lots to talk about. But if you guys want my initial reaction to Steelers news when it comes out, I post a lot on X, and you guys can get my film analysis on there because we can't post film here on YouTube. So if you guys want that extra in-depth Steelers content from me on X, I just got over 5,000 followers on X. So thank you guys so much for all of you that already support me on that platform. You can find me at Jack_Sperry for free in-depth Steelers analysis every single day on social media. So yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers executed a trade for box safety Kyle Dugger with the New England Patriots. They ended up sending a 6th-round pick next year to the Patriots in exchange for Dugger and a 2026 7th-round pick. So the Steelers still have their 12 draft picks, the same number of draft picks that they had before the trade. They just downgraded one of their picks from a 6th-rounder to a 7th-rounder to get somebody that can play that box safety role and be that run defense kind of helping player that Deshaun Elliott is usually asked to play in this Steelers defense moving forward. But we got a little bit of extra color there from Ian Rappaport after the trade was executed last night, which is good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He says more details. The Patriots are paying most of the $5.4 million that's left of Kyle Dugger's original base of $9.75 million, plus $1 million in per-game roster bonuses to complete the deal, source says. The final 2 contract years have been wiped out, source says. He'll be a free agent in 2025. So essentially what this means, guys, is that the Steelers are getting Kyle Dugger for pretty much nothing when it comes to the financial aspect of things. And then in terms of the 2 years he had left on his contract, those have been wiped out, and he will be a free agent next offseason, which I think, is a good way to set things up for the Pittsburgh Steelers here, where you're not paying him really anything. You're not tied to him for future seasons. It's pretty much a 1-year rental here at a box safety role here for Mr. Kyle Dugger here in Pittsburgh. Also, another good thing is that Kyle Dugger is now being reunited with Jabrill Peppers, and those two played some really good years there in New England, where Dugger was more of the box safety guy and Peppers played more of the free safety type of role. Now, they would use these guys interchangeably. They would, rotate at the snap. They would disguise these guys. They're both bigger bodies. They both love to hit. They both love to tackle. I would say Peppers is better in coverage, especially at this point in their respective careers. Dugger had an ankle injury last year. He just hasn't really been the same player in terms of the athleticism and the change of direction and the coverage ability. But Jabrill Peppers, I think, is still the better player. But Dugger is certainly somebody that loves the hit. He can shed blocks. He's a really good run defender from that box safety type of position. And the way that I would describe Kyle Dugger as a player is I would say he is a better version of what the Steelers were getting from Terrell Edmunds. Like, Edmunds was never really a great coverage player, but he was serviceable in zone coverage, and he was a really good run defender, for many seasons here in Pittsburgh. And I actually think Dugger might even be a little bit better than Edmunds really ever was as a run defender. I think you're getting a very similar type of player there. And even if they want to go to some dime looks here where you put 3 safeties out there, Edmunds would be almost like a, hybrid linebacker in the Steelers defense for many seasons. Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin love to go to that stuff, but in this season they haven't really played a lot of dime, but now they have a guy like Kyle Dugger. You can take Patrick Queen off the field at times and keep Kyle Dugger out there as kind of like a hybrid linebacker if they want to. So that certainly gives the Steelers a little bit of that versatility, a little bit of that variability. But I think the big question when it comes to Kyle Dugger is, will he play versus the Indianapolis Colts? Because Dugger is obviously, here in Pittsburgh. He's getting his life set up here in the Steel City, and he has to get ramped up. He has to learn a brand new defensive playbook. He has to learn all the different checks and communication things in the Steelers defense. And, remember when they signed Jabrill Peppers in week 2, they did not play him that first week because he had to get ramped up. It took him 2 weeks for him to be game ready to play in this defense. And honestly, I'm okay doing the same thing with Duggar in this situation, okay? I'm not sure if necessarily, having him play that true box safety role in this game in particular is a great idea. And the reason for that is because we're going up against a dynamic receiving threat at the tight end position in Tyler Warren, and the box safety lots of the times is tasked with taking on the man-to-man responsibilities of the tight end, okay? Just remember Chuck Clark, who was playing box safety in the second half of the game, versus the Packers when Deshaun Elliott left, was locked in one-on-one with Tucker Kraft, and that led to a touchdown, right? And I think with Kyle Duggar, he's not the fastest guy in the world. He's not, the twitchiest guy in the world. He's not the best pass coverage dude in the world. If you're playing a lot of man coverage versus Tyler Warren, I really don't want Kyle Duggar to be the guy that is on Warren in that coverage. And in my opinion, the defensive player on the Steelers defense that's most equipped to take out Tyler Warren in this defense is Mr. Jalen Ramsey. He's got the size, he's got the length, he's got the physicality, and he's got the coverage ability. And I actually think Jalen Ramsey is more suited to take away dynamic tight end threats than he is, like Tucker Kraft and Tyler Warren, for example, than he is taking away illegit outside receiver threats like Jamar Chase, for example, or Justin Jefferson. I think, with his decreased speed, I think that he's much more suited to take away tight ends as a safety than he is to take away true perimeter threats like Chase and Jefferson one-on-one on the boundary at this stage in his NFL career. Now, I'm not necessarily saying Ramsey should be playing safety full-time, although I'm open to that possibility. But with the trade for Duggar, my guess is moving forward, he will play strong safety in the weeks to come. But for this week, I would put Jalen Ramsey in that strong safety spot so that you can defend Tyler Warren the best that you can possibly defend him. Then I'd put Jabrill Peppers at free safety because that's the role that he's expected to play once Duggar gets up to speed. And then when it comes to the cornerbacks, I would play Joey Porter Jr. Darius Slay, I would maybe start him this game, but if he really starts to not play well in this game, I would really consider putting either James Pierre or even Corey Trice Jr. On Michael Pittman Jr., while I would have Joey Porter Jr. on Alec Pierce. And then Brandin Echols, I think, is a perfect fit to slide into the slot this week with Josh Downs, a really good slot wide receiver slated to go up against this Steelers defense this week. So I think the puzzle pieces fit here. Obviously, Darius Slay has not played good football through the first half of the season. If that continues in this game, I'm willing to give him a short leash. But I think maybe one more chance for Darius Slay this weekend while we put Jalen Ramsey on Tyler Warren. And I think with this move of bringing in Kyle Duggar, I think that Chuck Clark and Juan Thornhill's days are certainly numbered, okay? Like, these two were just absolutely atrocious, plain and simply, versus the Green Bay Packers. They played a lot in that second half, and they were a big reason why Green Bay was able to get a lot of the explosive plays that they got and the touchdowns that they got. There was multiple coverage busts from both of those guys. They, frankly, play really slowly, and I think that's exactly why this team not only went out and got Kyle Duggar, but also made another move at safety yesterday, bringing in former Commanders starting free safety Derek Forrest, signing him to the practice squad. He was in Pittsburgh today. He's wearing number 49. And I think this is going to prove to be a very sneaky good signing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that even though he might not be a full-time starter, at least right away, I think he will eventually get on the active roster. And I think they're going to probably release either Juan Thornhill or Chuck Clark pretty soon here once Derek Forrest gets ramped up as well. You guys can take a look at his profile here. He's only 26 years old, okay? So he's not one of these older players that the Steelers have brought in this year that are close to 30. Forrest still, technically, theoretically has lots of football left in him from a physical standpoint. He ran a 4.41 at his size, 200 pounds. That's pretty darn good speed. He's got really good range back there, can play a true free safety. He's also had experience playing in the box and being a strong safety as well, so he's pretty versatile in that way. And I thought he showed a ton of promise as a NFL-level starting safety with the Washington Commanders. Now, he's had some bad luck with injuries over the last 2 years. He had a shoulder injury in 2023, followed by some hamstring issues last year with the Washington Commanders. They eventually let him go, and he's bounced around Buffalo and Indianapolis this season, and now he lands with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's back to full health, and I think that, this is somebody that's always around the football. Okay, when he played for the Washington Commanders back in 2022, when he was fully healthy, he was a big-time playmaker. I mean, he was well on his way to getting a nice little contract extension from Washington before he started getting some of those injuries. But in that 2022 campaign, man, and that was a rough season for the Commanders, if you'll remember, but he was arguably one of their best defensive players, always around the football, 4 interceptions, hard hitter, something that you absolutely love to see from his profile as well. Just look up his highlights on YouTube, man. You'll see this guy brings the juice every single time he walks onto the football field. He had 9 PBUs in that season, 2 forced fumbles. He just plays with really good instincts, and I think he's got the speed to potentially play true free safety, which is something that Kyle Duggar can't do, and frankly, something maybe Jabrill Peppers in the weeks to come may prove that he's not capable of doing anymore either. So I think Darrick Forrest is somebody to keep your eye on. Obviously, I think the plan moving forward is to have Duggar at strong safety and Jabrill Peppers at free safety, and then to plug in Deshaun Elliott whenever he gets back, with Duggar being a third kind of dime piece at safety. But I think Darrick Forrest has a potential here to maybe turn some heads and, be a surprise, impact player for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year if things go the way that, he plays the way that he played in Washington back in 2022. And frankly, guys, give me Forrest as a backup safety over Chuck Clark and Juan Thornhill any day. Those guys are losing their legs. Those guys are older players versus Darrick Forrest, who, when healthy, has been a very productive, very good playmaking, hard-hitting safety in this league. And, if you can, with the upside of this being a potential starting free safety that's 26 years old, and's got a lot of range and playmaking ability, I mean, I really like that the Steelers took this dart throw on somebody that I've been a big fan of ever since he came out of Cincinnati back in 2021. He was one of my favorite sleeper prospects. He was one of my Sperry psychos that year and one of my all-time best, draft hits from somebody that was a late round pick. So I'm really excited for Darrick Forrest, maybe a little too excited, honestly. Probably a lot of you are like, who the hell is Darrick Forrest? But I've been a big fan of Forrest for a long time, so I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do here with the black and gold. Now, in terms of who should get cut first, okay, who should be cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers? If you had to choose right now, are you letting go of Chuck Clark, type CC, or are you getting rid of Juan Thornhill, type JT? For me personally, I'm getting rid of Chuck Clark. He just can't play anymore, man. At least Juan Thornhill can be at least a somewhat serviceable backup. But honestly, when Deshaun Elliott gets back, I think Thornhill's gone too. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. Just a second here, we're going to have a word from our friends at GLD. And while I tell you about today's sponsor, let me know which safety is going to get the boot. All right, fellas, let's be real. Buying men's jewelry used to be an absolute nightmare. It was low-quality junk that snapped after a week, or it was insanely overpriced with ridiculous markups. That's why I rock with GLD. They've changed the game in men's jewelry. You're getting quality pieces that are built to last without breaking the bank. And unlike a lot of other companies, GLD only uses real gold. None of that cheap stuff. Every single stone is meticulously hand set. Plus, their proprietary production process makes sure you're getting the highest quality jewelry possible. You can literally see and feel the difference with GLD. And a big shout out to GLD for shipping me out here an awesome Steelers pennant. I actually wore it on the Steelers Talk watch party last week versus the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. I really love it, guys, and I think I'm going to be wearing it on every single watch party this year. And it's more than just Steelers, guys. You can get a bunch of different teams. You can get your college team as well. And, of course, you can get a Steelers pennant. They got multiple different options as well. So I really love the price point that GLD brings to the table as well as the quality. And you know that feeling when you get your new chain, it just hits different. It elevates your whole fit, the confidence, the compliments, the way you carry yourself all changes instantly. And GLD has everything from chains to pendants, rings, earrings, even fully iced out watches if that's your style. And listen, don't just take my word for it. Over 2 million customers and 50,000 five-star reviews backs it up. Not to mention, it's worn by some of the biggest names out there like Justin Bieber, Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, A$AP Rocky, and a ton more. The best part, every single piece from GLD is guaranteed for life. It's literally built to last for the rest of your life, just like your love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Work hard and change the game. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal here. Use code CHAT to get 50% off plus a free chain at GLD.com. That's 50% off and a free chain with code CHAT at GLD.com. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. A big shout out to GLD for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. Now we shift our focus here to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, where Mike Tomlin took the podium yesterday for Tomlin Tuesday, and he actually said that no quote-unquote dramatic changes need to be made to the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. Something that I really disagree with. These comments really concern me, guys. We'll start with what Mike Tomlin had to say about Teryl Austin, the defensive coordinator. He said, I've known Teryl for a long time. He's very capable. He's very thorough. I've largely been pleased with his work, but certainly he and I are not pleased with where we are right now from a defensive unit perspective. So we're just going to keep working. On the defense itself, he says we certainly need to be better in third down than we've been, but it doesn't necessarily mean dramatic changes in terms of schematics and things of that nature. It's details that is usually the difference. We just got to keep doing what we're doing and do it better. And then when it comes to quarterbacks getting the ball out fast consistently versus the Steelers defense this year, Tomlin said, I think that's been our life for a number of years. I think anytime you got dramatic rushers or dynamic rushers, I think that's the first way you work to minimize them. I think that's everyone's agenda, to be quite honest with you. When they play us, it requires no quote-unquote adjustments. Now, listen, man, when you hear things like no dramatic changes are needed, we have to keep doing what we're doing, but do it better. When you say things like, oh, there's really nothing we can do, everybody, gets the ball out fast against us. These comments are unacceptable to me, and they really, really concern me because it tells me that they're not really going to change their defensive philosophy all that much, and they're going to continue to run these man-free blitzes like 30% of the time, and we're just going to continue to get toasted as long as these cornerbacks and these safeties and these linebackers can't, sack up and, guys, get these guys under wraps in one-on-one coverage. And listen, man, there's a reason why quarterbacks are getting the ball out fast, right? Tomlin just kind of chalks it up to, oh, we have great rushers, so everybody wants to get the ball out fast. But they're getting the ball out fast, and they're having success because they're getting it out because you are rushing with more than 4, so you're blitzing, but you're also playing with guys back, and you are trying to prevent the deep passing game, which creates a ton of space to the underneath and intermediate levels of the field. And when that's the case, it provides a lot of quick and easy answers to these quarterbacks, and it doesn't really make them think. It doesn't make them hold on to the ball. It doesn't make them mentally process the defense post-snap. They can just snap it. Oh, yep, they're in this defense again. I'm going to find my matchup and just get the ball out super quickly, completely negating the Steelers' pass rush. And then when he was asked specifically about quarterbacks getting the ball out fast, this is what Tomlin had to say about that. There's a lot of answers to that. None of it is earth-shattering or interesting. You change up schematics. You play man. You play bogus zones, all of which we do. We just haven't been doing it well enough to minimize the quarterbacks getting the ball out fast. Now, there is something that you can do, Tomlin. Like he said, this is just an answer where it's just like he's throwing up his hands like, oh, we're doing everything we can, but the players aren't executing. No, man, you're not putting your guys in positions to succeed, okay? When you are rushing more than 4 and you are blitzing, but you are at the same time protecting against the deep ball, that means a ton of stuff is open underneath, and these quarterbacks are just able to throw those slants, throw those out routes, throw those dig routes over the middle of the field versus man free. All right, and they're always going to be open. All right, there's no help over the middle of the field. There's no help to the flats. It's just one-on-one, mano-a-mano, man coverage, and then a lot of times when they play bogus zones like Tomlin talks about, he puts his guys in really tough spots to make plays. They really, really do. And, just to chalk this up to, oh, we do everything we can to stop quarterbacks from getting the ball out fast. It's just player execution. It's just straight up bullshit, in my opinion. It's not taking accountability for you not putting your players in a position to succeed. And I was really pissed off when I was watching that press conference on Tuesday, man. I can't tell you how much I was just fuming watching this head coach give those answers. Oh, yeah, we don't have to make adjustments. Oh, yeah. Oh, we have to keep doing what we're doing. All this different stuff. It's an unacceptable answer to me, and it needs to stop. Moving forward, they got to make some big adjustments. So where are you guys at? Let me know down there in the comment section. What is your confidence level in the Steelers coaching staff right now? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10 for me down there in the comment section. A 1 meaning you have no confidence whatsoever. This is the worst coaching staff in the league. To 10 meaning, yeah, they're going to get it fixed. It's only a matter of time. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. And now some final items to talk about here midway through the week as we prepare for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday afternoon. We will start with Corey Trice Jr., who his 21-day practice window was open today. He was at practice today, running around, doing all that great stuff. This is a player that has a lot of potential. I think that we all kind of understand that. Ever since they drafted him in the 7th round, his issue has always been staying healthy. And unfortunately, those injury concerns have certainly popped up consistently throughout his career. So hopefully, A, he can stay healthy. And B, he can play at a pretty high level when he does get an opportunity. He's been the dime backer for the Steelers defense in years past. He's done a pretty good job of that in the past. But I will say right now, man, Darius Slay better watch his back, because if he doesn't step up in a major way in the weeks to come, and he continues to siphon off yards, if he continues to make business decisions, not tackling guys, all this different stuff that we saw in last week's film. I mean, Corey Trice Jr., who is physical, who does have very long arms and is actually fast, is going to take his job, plain and simply, okay? And if it's not Corey Trice, it might be Brandin Echols, all right? I really think Darius Slay's job is on the line this week, and it's going to be on the line for probably the next several weeks unless he completely proves himself to be a bona fide starter in this league still, because frankly, he's not playing at a high enough level, and until he does, his job, as far as I'm concerned, is certainly on the line right now. Now we'll take a look here at the injury report for both the Steelers and the Colts this week. Some notable did not practice designations here. Isaac Seumalo, we knew that. He did not practice today, dealing with a pec injury. Zach Frazier still dealing with his calf injury. I'm guessing he's going to be able to play this weekend. Pat Freiermuth was added to the injury report here. He's dealing with a quad contusion that he suffered versus the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. He was able to finish the game, though, so I'm guessing he'll play on Sunday as well. And then Scotty Miller has a repaired broken finger that he's working back from, but he did not practice today. And I think a big question when it comes to Seumalo and whether or not he's going to play is, will those jumbo personnel packages that we've been seeing over the last several weeks stay if Seumalo's out this week? And, I think that the Steelers have a couple options at their disposal if they want to keep running jumbo even without Seumalo on the field. They did run one jumbo personnel package play with Ryan McCollum, their backup center, playing Spencer Anderson's role as the jumbo tight end. So maybe he's the guy that gets that nod this week if Seumalo's out. But also I think Andrews Pete could be another candidate to even, get those reps at left guard. Like, you could go to those jumbo personnel packages, move Spencer Anderson, make him eligible as that tight end that we've seen him play over the last several weeks. And then on those plays, have Andrews Pete, who has a ton of experience playing left guard, have him play at that spot in those moments, okay? Pete is on the active roster, hasn't gotten a helmet too frequently this season, but the Steelers clearly like him as a backup, so I could see that being a potential option as well. When it comes to Daniel Ekuale, who's going to be missing the season with a torn ACL, expect Y.A. Black to replace him as the backup nose tackle. He's been playing defensive end. Not nose tackle this year. I'm talking about Y.A. Black now. But now with Ekuale out, Y.A. Black was able to step in. He had 3 nose tackle reps after Ekuale left the game, which points to me that he's going to be the guy that replaces Ekuale with that second unit nose tackle position. He needs to play with better pad level. He needs to play with better technique, in my opinion. Y.A. Black certainly has a lot of potential, very strong human being, and he's shown some great flashes. He's going to have more opportunities to be out there on the field. I hope he makes the most of them. Now we get to Indianapolis's notable did not play designation players today, and they had a very extensive list of guys and starters that did not play. Did not practice this afternoon. Nick Cross, their starting strong safety, dealing with a shoulder. Josh Downs, their starting slot receiver, dealing with a hip. Samson Ebukam, who missed last week's game with a knee injury, still not practicing. Then you got Matt Goncalves, their right guard, former Pitt Panther, by the way, dealing with a personal issue. Who knows how long that's going to take. Kenny Moore, their starting slot receiver, or slot corner, arguably their best corner on the team, dealing with an Achilles injury right now. Grover Stewart, their nose tackle, dealing with a foot, did not practice today. And then Anthony Gold and Taekwon Lewis, two backup rotational players, also did not practice today. So keep your eye on those injuries. We certainly will, and we'll keep you guys updated on the Colts injury statuses as the week goes on. Now, that'll be it for today's edition of Steelers News and Rumors. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of today's show. Type those real ones down there in the comment section if you made it to the end. If you make it to the end of the video, guys, it really does help out the YouTube algorithm. So I want to show my love to you guys for making it to the end. So if you made it to the end today, type those real ones down there in the comment section. We'll give you some love down there later today. And make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to provide you guys more Steelers updates tomorrow. Tomorrow, Ponzi and I go back live on Steelers Talk Live. Or actually, no, Ponzi. Ponzi's actually getting married this weekend, so big shout out to Ponzi. Everyone give your congratulations to Ponzi down there in the comment section. Tomorrow will be me and some other producers, so make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, here we go, Steelers.